Hi, my name is Luha Khaleel and I'm one of the interior design graduates. So for Reveal, I figured I would be talking about some of the projects that I've done throughout the 3 years. So what got me into interior was that I'm someone that indoors a lot of the time and I spend most of my time at home. So it got me thinking that it would be nice if I could design the space that I live in, not just give input to a designer or get input from a designer, but be the designer themselves. So for my first year project, I did a model that was based on Mahagadara. It's one of the huts located in a retreat named Mud House, and it was for vernacular architecture. Vernacular architecture is when locals use local materials and their own knowledge to build or construct their own buildings. So for Mahagadara, they had used thatched roofs, mud walls, and stone pathways, as well as timber columns. So I also used materials that are similar. I've used plywood and palm leaves to construct this model. And it was also in an exhibition that was done at British Council during 2018. For second year, I actually did a clinic project. It was a digestive clinic that was based in Scottsdale. For that, I chose sea salts as my concept because sea salts are therapeutic, and I've linked that to the evaporation of negative feelings from the visitors. So for the color palette also, I've used the colors from different sea salts. So there are black lava sea salt, grey Celtic sea salt, pink Himalayan, and even white ones. So I've used materials that have characteristics of sea salt, which are glossy and reflective. Ceiling has smart clouds, which are a lighting feature, and I've also used sea salt feature inside the space, which also works for a pathway director, but also as an aesthetic. And for my final major project, which was done on third year, I've actually done a treatment space, which is a disorder where people are unable to distinguish whether it's real or whether it's in their imagination. So although it may not seem like it, it's actually a really harmful disorder, because it doesn't just harm yourself, but also harms the people around you. For example, there was a situation in South Korea where the parents of a 3-month-old baby were so involved in this fantasy-based game that they spent most of their time at that cafe playing that game, and they had neglected their daughter, which led to her death. For the color palette, I've actually used one of Takashi Murakami's artworks, which is called Hey 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 Dob. And the reason I chose that artwork was because cosplaying plays a major role in my space, cosplaying as anime characters, and it's because cosplaying can act as a way for people to overcome barriers and be in a space that is away from judgment. So for materials, I've actually used traditional Japanese materials such as bamboo, weaved straw, different types of wood like walnut and beech wood, and even rice paper, which is heavily used by Japanese homes. And this was one of the 3D Max renders that I've done. So I took CIT as the space, and I cut off the slab between the 5th and 6th floors and merged the whole space so that there would be an open environment where people would be able to take a look at different parts of the space and have harmony inside the space. For the proposition, I actually used one of the animes, Death Note, as the concept, and I had handwritten everything and hand-drawn everything because I wanted to show that reality has its errors and that it's okay. So I want to raise awareness through my project and also treat people that are borderline fantasy-prone personality, that have fantasy-prone personality disorders. And yeah, I think that's it. Please do check out my Instagram page, Luha Aesthetic Interiors, where I will be uploading all my work. I'm going to try to look for a job here and gain experience, but I would like to look into set designs, because I think that's something that I would like to do in the future.